Hello, my dear ones. Whew, it's a busy day. Oh my gosh. Holy, excuse me. Oh my God. I wanted to keep going with your questions here. So many critical cases. I was watching the news, of course, and this guy that does Jeopardy, I guess he announced yesterday he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, according to the allopathic community. And it's like, I'm going to beat this. And I looked at that, considering the low survival rate, and they even admitted the low survival rate, and it's like, really? For us, having a tumor in the pancreas is not a little different than having a tumor in the liver. Sorry. You know, not the same as them, you know. But, and then they brought up Patrick Swayze and stuff. And so if a young Patrick Swayze couldn't beat the chemo, as strong as he was, this older guy's, you know, dreaming. And so the problem is getting to these people to where they feel like they have another hope. And sometimes they're so locked in, they think that this is the only way. And I've seen that as well, you know. Anyway, let's see how some of your questions here. Well, this is Crystal. I always like that name, Crystal. Yeah. Urgent, advanced cancer. So Crystal was diagnosed with stomach gastrointestinal tumor in 2014. It was 14 centimeters. Holy moly. That's a big boy. And in 2013, it was diagnosed with colon adenocarcinoma. But it was early stage, so they removed it with no problems. So what did they do with the stomach tumor? Just a few weeks ago, it was discovered there was a new growth that happened after 2015, and it is 7 centimeters in size, and a recent biopsy determined it is cancer. Now, you want to understand that looking at, let's just say the stomach for an example. You've got a little pouch, right? But that pouch has a wall to it. And that wall, of course, is where you're going to get a tumor, either growing on the side of it, inside of it, or within the interstitial spaces. If a tumor grows like on the side of the colon or on the side of something, and it's not interstitial, kind of like an aberrant growth, like a Dr. Pimple Popper growth, where there's no real cells involved except the storage of damaged cells, then you're not going to see much there. And it can be diagnosed as a non-cancerous or a benign tumor. What's the difference? What's the difference if a tumor has cells in it and a tumor doesn't, in terms of cells that have been damaged? Most tumors have some degree of cells in there, just from the fact that that's going to be a storage tank, because to have a tumor means your lymph node and the pathway to that kidney is blocked. Therefore, any damaged cells can't not get to the macrophages in the lymph nodes to be broken down. So they're going to stay in tissues like that, where obviously it is the tumors that can kill you, only because they can shut off vital flows of blood or nerve or whatever. But it is also the backed up lymphatic system on irrespective sides, say on the left side, that can pack up the heart, cause congestive heart failure, cause strokes, things like that. We have study after study showing more people die of the treatment of cancer, meaning the treatment of damaged cells, as opposed to doing nothing and let the tumors just grow. So there's so much fear about all this and brought about all this. There should be in the sense of the tumors, but not the fact that a tumor has a cancer cell in it or not. To biopsy a tumor is stupid. Once you open up a tumor, you have now created a more serious backlash of problems interstitially around that area. That's why there is a tumor there. And not to understand that, to me, is just I just can't believe the stupidity involved in that. Especially even with the limited amount of understanding that the allopathic community has about the lymphatic system and about lymph nodes. I find that not being able to add 1 and 1 is ridiculous for such an academically inclined modality. Amazing to me. So, but you see how this poor thing is seeing tumor after tumor after tumor? And in different places? Because it's a system that's down. Crystal has her lymphatic system down. And anything on that side, and then won't be long the other side is up for grabs as well, is going to have growths or tumors on them. It's just the whole system is down. Generally, you see maybe tumors in an area of genetic weakness first. If you have a chronic feed to a breast, you see a breast tumor forming or a weakness in those tissues where the lymph is already compromised. Yes, you're going to see those places raise their ugly little heads up first. But the treatment of these with chemo then further destroys the kidneys, further destroys the lymph nodes, further destroys the adrenal glands. Remember, there's no such thing as targeted chemo. I think that's a friggin' joke, in my opinion. Because they've never been able to demonstrate it. Anybody that's been on chemo has damaged their entire body. And that's the problem with the blood, where you didn't have a problem on one side, you now start going to have a problem on the other side because blood is systemic. I remember this one lady that came to me and she had a cancer cell in her left eye. Kind of like that little 9-month-old we were telling you about. So she had a damaged cell in that one of her eyes, her left eye, and they told her they had targeted radiation. She wasn't buying it at first, but they convinced her that this targeted 3D, they called it, radiation, would just target that cell, or those cells, which is stupid in their thinking in the first place. Because you're targeting a damaged cell to kill it more, to destroy it more. It's already a destroyed cell. That's an oxymoron right there. Then you fry all the cells around it, no matter how 3D, and then they become damaged cells. Well, how did they get damaged in the first place? The lymphatic system was backed up in that area to begin with to damage that cell. You don't have a cell sitting there that just gets damaged because it's a cell sitting there. That's insanity. That doesn't even make common sense. What's damaging a cell in your body? Pancreatic cell, liver cell, who cares where? What's damaging it? And there's only two systems that you can blame on that, blood and lymph. Well, then you pull back to the only two sides of chemistry, and you ask yourself which side of chemistry is doing that. Well, it's always going to take you to the acidic side of chemistry, since that's the corrosive side of chemistry. That's also going to pull you into metabolitic waste from the cells. How did these acids get there interstitially? What's interstitial fluid for? And if you're going to medical school and you come out of a family that doesn't understand sewage, then you're at a big disadvantage. Because schools don't teach sewage 101. How does a body eliminate sewage? How does your house eliminate sewage? How does your car eliminate sewage? How does a factory eliminate sewage? It's idiocy at its greatest. And I hope that more of you get how stupid this whole thing is and how criminal and damaging these people are to humans. It's unbelievable. So no matter where the tumor is, whether it's a barren on the side of something, tissue, or it's wrapped within the tissues, it doesn't matter. It is still showing you that you have a lymphatic system that's down, and that by that being down, you're creating systemic acidosis. Well, look at acids. What are acids? Corrosive. They break things down. They're agglomerating. They're dehydrating. So you swell with water. You have inflammation, the inflammatory response, a response by the body to try to stop this or to in some way neutralize the problem. Like in war, you try to neutralize the enemy. When you're going about it allopathically, you're destroying all these other tissue. To make a long story short, this lady came to me with brain cancer, and they told her it was from the radiation. I thought you told me it was just going to pinpoint cells. Too late. Liars. So this is part of the problem. So you can't fall to stupidity and have a healthy, happy life and enjoy life spiritually and things like that, because everybody's living in fear. Understand the lymphatic system and you will lose your fear. Your biggest job now is to fix the lymphatic system, to get the lymphatic system filtering, because it's a lack of filtering. When you have an obstruction in the body, why would you have an obstruction? Well, you have to go immediately to the eliminative organs to determine why you have an obstruction. Because if the eliminative organs are properly eliminating all the metabolitic wastes that are being created by your activity, of your muscles, your cells, the whole body's activity, and you're not moving those out, it stands to reason that you're going to have a backing up of that. Like if you have a wreck on the highway, it's going to back up the whole highway. And you can't destroy all the cars on the highway. You have to fix the problem, move everybody off, get everything going, fix the where the bottleneck is and open it up. Well, when you quit eliminating lymphatically through the eliminative organs, or water the eliminative organs of the lymphatic system. Blood, there's no elimination to blood. That's the problem with their thinking. You don't dump the systemic metabolitic waste in the blood and think the blood's going to handle them. That for a chemist to even buy into that shows the stupidity of the chemist. You don't dump systemic acids into an alkaline dominant system, and in fact you're not going to affect the pH, and now you're going to not invoke whatever they believe the bicarbonate system. That's bullcrap. You've got the calcium buffering system and the cholesterol systems you start invoking. This really starts ravishing the individual's connective tissue and everything else. That's why you begin to see the wrinkles and the petechia bruising easy, and the varicose spider veins, the depressions. Look at this big pharmaceuticals now on depression now. They have all these brand new pharmaceuticals allowed by the AMA. Kill a lot of people, but you need it. You could need it. Their philosophies are so antiquated and so dark agey. It's not even funny, and man is still buying into that. That's because they need to see you guys and see the truth of life, because that's why people are opening up to your focus, because truth is truth is truth is truth, and anybody can understand it. You can't understand allopathy because it's not based in truth, because there's no foundation. There's no causative factors. Everything's a mystery. Well, as long as you think life's a mystery, then you will live in a world of fear and uncertainty, and you will never control your own destiny. Just a few weeks ago, it was discovered there was a new growth that happened after 2015, and it's metastasized, in a recent biopsy determined it is cancer. They don't know where it is coming from. Here's people that went to how many years to medical school? I had a medical doctor jump my butt. He was an osteopathic endocrinologist, jumping my butt for talking to people how they could overcome their diabetes. Not the disease, their blood sugar issues. And he was on my case. He said, I've been to school 15 years, and I have never heard of anything ridiculous. And I said, you've been to school for 15 years and you're an osteopath? I've been to school 15 years. I said, and what about the adrenal glands and the control of sugar metabolism and all this sort of thing? And I was going into that, and he goes, that's not true. And I said, you don't even know what causes type 1 diabetes? You don't even know what causes these things? Why did you go to school for? Just what I told him. Why did you go to school for 15 years? You wasted 15 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars to not even know anything. That was stupid. So here's a guy that spent 15 years of his life getting his ego popped up there, hurting people because he doesn't know what causes anything, and he's out there in life trying to deal with this. And I was talking to a young girl that was in her 20s, blind from type 1, and her mother standing there. And when that medical doctor huffed off, I told the mother, I said, I'm sorry you had to hear that. She says, I've heard that crap all my life. Same crap, autoimmune. Same crap. Went to 15 years of school to learn you don't know what causes it? Holy crap. You guys don't have to go but a week or two listening to videos and you already know what causes it. That's got to hurt. Of course, it took me a lot of years to be able to put it to you this simple. This patient is willing to change the diet to a vegetable and a fruit-based diet. Forget the vegetables. This poor soul needs fruit badly. It needs to get these kidneys opened up and filtering, get the skin sweating. This person needs to get honking because you haven't mentioned the treatment of these different tumors. Bowel movements very frequent, like every hour. Needs to take warm baths to feel more comfortable. Patient is taking Gleevec, 400 milligrams a day. I don't know what Gleevec is. Will any of the capsules or tinctures interfere with the Gleevec medicine? I mean, why the hell are you taking Gleevec? What is it for? And if it's a tumor, do you really care if you want to go another way? You know this isn't going to work. You really care if it interferes with it? You know, the body doesn't want chemistry like that. Her own body, as it gets healthier, is going to try to reject it. It isn't the herbs that reject it, it's her body that rejects these chemicals. These herbs are just enhancement of cellular function and the acceleration of the cleansing of floods. And if the body's the one that tries to get out foreign chemistry out of itself, but when it's so agglomerated it can't do that, then naming chemistry, chemo locks right in. I've had people taste chemotherapy 2 years after they started detoxifying. That's how saturated they saturated tissue with a hydrochloric / battery acid / Drano treatment. And didn't go to jail for it. I'm telling you, it's time not to take any prisoners with this. It's getting obscene out there. They're getting away with this. And the Congress is now, they're going to try to get Congress to pass laws to force you into these sort of things. Really? We have been entered the negative times like you can't believe, and that means there's civil wars going to happen all over the place because you can't force people to do things against their own bodies they don't want to do. And where did this narcissistic crap come from? All the past don't know what the hell they're even doing. To have all this go on, this is amazingly problematic to this world right now and to the inhabitants of this world. Bad stuff. We have the adrenal gland tonic, the lymphatic system tonic 1, the pituitary capsules, and the kidney and bladder capsules. Well, says me, I'm going to do 2 or 3 liquid kidney formulas. I'm going to do at least 1 lymphatic one. Just going to start with 1 right now. I'm going to be 100% grape diet's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go after the adrenals probably with a 400 milligram granular just to get those adrenals up and hopping. I don't know if I'm going to hit the pituitary. I don't know if I'm going to hit the pituitary right off. That might be a little too much. You might want to think of something about that. I'm going to go after gallbladder liver. I'm going to go after the GI tract. I'm going to have the GI broom. I'm going to have the stomach and bowel formulas. I'm going to go after upper circulation, get in that brain. I'm going to go after the nervous system to enhance nerve function to all these tissues because everything's controlled by the nervous system, number 1. So when the nervous system's down, everything else is down. So you want to go after the nervous system to enhance the function of these cells. Because you have 2 things you want to do: enhance the function of cells, but you also, because they're structure function, but you want to also deal with the fluids that handle them. The blood is easy to clean the blood up, and if you're having blood problems and clots, go to the spleen and clean the spleen up. But to do all that, you've got to go to the kidneys, because the reason the spleen gets dirty, the reason any of these tissues get backed up inflammatory-wise is why? The lymphatic system. There's only 2 fluid-based systems in the body. Pick one. It's not difficult. So This poor Crystal needs serious focus on a grape diet like yesterday, and some dry fasting. Get those kidneys filtering with kidney formulas, dry fasting, water fasting, whatever you can to get these kidneys. And to get also to help those kidneys, you've got to go after the adrenal glands sitting on top. Because those two are always involved in, I'll say this boldly, those two tissues are always involved in every disease process that medical doctors can dream up of. Every one of them. The kidney and adrenals are always involved. That's why kidney failure is the #1 cause of death. Whether it's heart attacks, strokes, or whatever it is, kidneys and adrenals are always the central cause of all that. That's why you see so many kidney transplants. Remember, you have an extra one, give one up. This comes from the intelligent community, and people don't trust us, but trust them. That blows me away sometimes, you know that? And then they have the audacity and the, you know what, the cojones to call us alternative. Terrible. BRRGIT. Brigitte? Need advice, please. Cancer. I found you on YouTube a year ago, and I am a huge fan of yours. You are so inspirational. Oh, thanks. Sometimes, I tell you, after this, you know, after so much of this, you just, come on. You know, these poor people in this world of suffering, and you got a community there, just all they know is just juice them or fry them. Well, I can take a torch, same thing as radiation. I can take a torch on a tumor and shrink it. Oh, you're in remission. Idiocy. Compromising every cell in the human body for that? Idiocy. I am a 51-year-old female and I live in Germany. I have health problems and I don't know what steps I should take to get myself healthy again. Well, I want to say this to each and every one of you, and of course, these we are now categorizing these in the worst of the worst down to the more simpler ones, and I'll probably never get to some of you guys that are asking more simple questions like acne and stuff like that. These are, you know, people that are dying. So, and there's so many of you that I can't even get to all of you guys. So the #1 thing you always should remember, when you have a swelling, a small tumor, a cyst, or skin problems, or fibrocystic, or cystic fibrosis, or I don't care what your problem is, it all comes from acidosis. Location, 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 no question. So the first thing you have to do is always focus on the lymphatic system, #1. Always, always, always. The first focus, the eliminative organs. You gotta, if you don't fix them, how are you going to fix inside the body? If you can't get the eliminative organs properly eliminating, then how are you going to fix it? The problem with allopathy, they don't understand that the kidneys are the eliminative organs of the lymphatic system, so your urine should somehow be clear. Your sewer system shouldn't be eliminating anything. Really? I mean, it's unbelievable. So you don't want to buy in that when you see sediment in your urine that you have infection. That's bullcrap. You want sediment. They've killed so many people because of that, it's not even funny. Don't fall into that problem. Another idiocy of the allopathic community, you want robust sediment in your urine. You want to see metabolitic waste in your urine. It's like you want to see stool coming out of the pooperino. You don't want to see water. So that's #1 always. And the adrenal-kidney connection is obvious. One sits on top of the other. So you must go after that. But the adrenal controls so many other factors in the human body that it will help in so many ways, like enhancement of the autonomic nervous system, which then enhances the function of all the cells of the body, including the kidneys. Because if the nervous system goes down, so as all the tissues go down. They get their neurological, their energetics from the nervous system. And then good blood flow is good to have. If you don't have a tumor, you always want to increase blood flow to tissue. But what about the dominant fluid of the interstitial, the lymphatic fluids? This is where you get dehydration. You don't get dehydration out of blood, or you're gone. There's only one fluid left. Holy moly. So, always know that. I'm going after your kidneys, your lymphatic system. I'm going after your adrenal glands, your whole endocrine gland. I'm going after the whole endocrine gland system. much as I can. That's why the endocrine gland formulas, berries and things that feed the endocrine glands. But I know that the reason your endocrine glands could be down, or any tissue could be down, or you could have a swelling, or a fatty liver, a fatty kidney, or a fatty whatever, or I see tumors or cysts, I know there's only one system responsible for that. Let me play this broken record over and over and over again. There's only one system that can cause that, guys. Only one. It's not fantasy. It's a lack of understanding, allopathy of that system. They're slowly discovering it, but it isn't allopathy discovering it. It's these great universities that are discovering it. Not the allopathic discovery. They rely on university discoveries. And then, how slow are they to pick it up? I'm an allopath medical doctor, and I'm dealing in cancers. I'm going to be asking what the hell causes this? What system is involved? I'm going to be asking all these questions. We're calling them lymphomas. That means they must be of the lymph system. Oh, I was taught just a limited amount. I've seen frustration, A&P professors, frustration, because they're teaching a system they know doesn't fit in proper A&P understanding. You can't acidify the blood. That's just proper anatomy, physiology understanding. Biochemistry understanding. You got metabolitic wastes that are acids. That's just anatomy and physiology. When anybody listening? That's what I say. You try to go back into the dark memory patterns of the mind, and what you find is the same old crap. The only way you're going to understand truth is to get out of the mind, which is a conditioned instrument. It's going to still hash the same old crap over and over and over to you. And how do you get out of that if it's wrong? You can't, because you're relying on memories and other people's ideas and opinions and theories to fit the day. Try being an original discoverer. You know, when you open up to consciousness, the answers are there for you, because the answers are there. All the answers of the universes are all there for you to see. It's all in consciousness. And when you become conscious, they're there for you to pick. They're right there for you. It's not like the mind. The mind has to rationalize, compare. Let's see, where did I read this, and what was said about this? And that doesn't exist in consciousness. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on the GI tract. Absolutely, because what's in embryology, that's that little tail, the little tadpole tail I call it. That's the embryonic trunk. So this is the trunk of the tree here. So I'm going after that, all right, because that's related to everything embryonically and symbiotically. So I'm going after the gut. There's no question about that. I need digestion anyway, so I'm going after the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. So I'm going to use herbs that enhance the function of these cells, but I know that the reason those cells are failing is that the sewage around them can't be removed. When the sewage becomes inside the cell, that's when the cell damage takes place, and that's when you start this path of atypical down to what they call a cancer cell to scare you. It's just a damaged cell with interest that it cannot eliminate its metabolitic waste within itself, because the outside of itself is agglomerated. The sewer system around the interstitial spaces are locked. That's where you get the swelling. That's where you get stagnation. That's where you get inflammation. That's where you start forming little polyps or cysts. There's no other answer to it. You can't find the answer in books, because no one's discovered it. They're too busy thinking blood. That's why consciousness gives you the explorer, gives you the awareness, it gives you the awakening process. It pulls your head out of the sand like an ostrich. And you go, whoa, oh man, I'm seeing clearly now. And that's why I put my YouTubers up against anybody in the healing arts, because you guys get it. I'm going to try to get you sweating. Your skin is your largest eliminative organ. Blood? You see blood coming out of the skin? No. So what else? Metabolitic gases and acids. And look at that. When you can't, look at what happens when they accumulate under the skin. Acne, rosacea, psoriasis. You just keep on down that line. Who cares what you call it? Who cares what name the medical doctors give a skin problem? Just different degrees of the same problem. And you clear it. Oh, this is going to hurt. You clear it up the same way. Oh. You clear up a tumor that has a cancer cell, what they call a cancer cell in it, the same way you would clear up cystic fibrosis, except I'm going to use lung herbs when it gets to cystic fibrosis, because these herbs help break up hardened mucus and sputum that's scarring the lungs. But those same herbs could loosen up lymph nodes too. So I like the 3-lung tea, things like this, because these are, even though predominantly thought to be lung herbs and bronchial trunk herbs, those herbs will loosen up lymph nodes and everything else. But you have to have the pathway opened. You can't treat this, you've got to treat the system that's causing this in cystic fibrosis or in any brain tumor, liver tumor, pancreatic tumor. You can't treat the tumor, that's what kills people. You can't treat the cancer cell that's in the tumor or the damaged cell that's in the tumor because it's already damaged. See you later, alligator. You're gone. You're done. How do you stop other cells from being damaged? You don't insult them with acid, the same side of chemistry that's damaging them. It isn't alkalis that's damaging them. Excuse me? That's crazy thinking. That means your fruits and berries and melons are going to cause cancer. Well, that would be oxymoron to the American Cancer Society, who came out with this chart in 1986. It said, eat more of these. Eat more of these. Look who said that down at the bottom there. You don't see that anymore. It's too much of a moneymaker. It's crazy. All my problems started in the year 2007. I had breast cancer in my left breast. After a lumpectomy, I received 6 weeks of radiation, and they gave me tamoxifen. Well, it's funny they give a female tamoxifen and Rumidex. What do they give the males? Lupron, whatever it is. These are inhibitors of your gonadals, your testosterones and your estrogens, because they are a little acidic. Estrogen is not acidic enough to damage cells. You would call estrogen in chemistry a minor acid. You would cause chemotherapy a major acid. So you're trying to treat an acid condition, which an acid that damages a cell is 3 pH. That's going to be your Coca-Cola pH, your Pepsi pH. Those are hot acids. So those acids are about 100 times hotter than estrogen. So they're going to damage a cell. And then they're going to blame estrogen. So the World Health Organization has called tamoxifen, Rumidex, Lupron carcinogenic. But we medical doctors in the States give you those. Well, wait a minute, the World Health Organization calls them carcinogens, and yet we give them to you. Watch is suppressed. So if you suppress estrogen, you suppress testosterone, what are you actually suppressing? Your adrenal glands. Anybody want to suppress your adrenal glands? That's about as stupid as you can get. That's like giving you a steroid and things clear up temporarily. Then to see the blowback from that when the adrenals quit producing it for you, and then you go into chronic fatigue and everything else from that because you just slammed your adrenal glands. I mean, when you really look at it, it gets really, really stupid out there what's going on here, and man has to wake up because this is sad would do that. Here's another Rimidex right here. Let me see, 6 weeks of radiation, and then they gave me tamoxifen. In '08, I had cervical cancer. They took all out, and now they gave me a Rimidex for the following 5 years. So basically, you've had years of suppressing your adrenal glands and wonder why you're having more problems. And they never fixed the system that was causing your problem. So You wonder why you're having more problems and why you went from one place to another place. And since you've done radiation, and it doesn't say anything about chemo, but if you've had chemo, then you've literally burning every cell in your body to a certain degree, as much as your body can produce cholesterol to try and stop that. 2015, I had thyroid cancer. See what I'm saying? In other words, she's having all these spots that they call cancer. So she's damaging her cells in her thyroid, in her cervix, in her breast. What's causing that? Could that be a system down, or is that just isolated cases? Maybe God didn't like you, and said, I'm going to make that cancer, and I'm going to make that cancer. That's how they make you feel, because they don't understand what they're talking about. Dangerous. Dangerous. So they took out the whole thyroid out, including my parathyroid glands. Holy crap-a-doodle. My life became very hard because I have these calcium cramps, no kidding. Holy crap. Remember the parathyroid and calcium utilization? Now she can't utilize calcium. Holy crap. So what they do is take these poor people and they put them deeper and deeper into Hellville. Oh, we did everything we could. Really? That's extreme narcissism and, in my opinion, extreme criminality. This is criminal stuff here going on here. Ugh. Poor thing, because my body can't produce calcium anymore since my parathyroid glands don't work anymore. Yeah, hello. But they so proudly took them out for you. Oh my God. I found myself many times in the emergency room because of that. Oh, poor thing, holy crap. Now I have another hard lump I found 2 weeks ago in my throat. Holy moly. It's on the left side, because you're talking about left breast up here. Remember, left side seems to be your big side. At the place where my tonsils used to be, the MD wants to do a biopsy. Here we go again. Let's do a biopsy on it. Hell yeah, we've already removed everything else out of her. Holy crap, honey. I mean, I get them in here where they're just like you. They've removed almost everything in the body. Anybody going to fix anything for her? I am scared and I don't trust these MDs anymore. Yeah, you should have pulled that trigger a long time ago, sweetheart. Dearest Dr. Morse, this is the reason I am writing you. I believe in you and what you teach. I even would borrow some money to come to your clinic. You don't need to come to the clinic. You don't need to borrow money, sweetheart. Don't borrow money. Don't get yourself in debt. Let this video help you here. But call the clinic, get an appointment. Spend your money on a quick appointment. It's only a couple $100 or so. Have them get a picture of your eyes. That doesn't cost anything, so we can do it with an iPhone or something. It's not about the money. It's about your focus. It would be wonder if I could get an answer from you. I am desperate to save my life. Could you put some rum and coke in here? I think I'm going to need it. Well, let's hope that you can grow back some parathyroid tissue and some thyroids. All I can say now, did they remove your other side, both thyroid glands and all 4 of your parathyroid glands, or just on the left side? Maybe they kept some. But I have had one case where, like I said, I had part of a thyroid and I got the thyroid to grow back. But you have to be 100% raw. And of course, I'm going to be, what do you guys say about this one? 100% grape diet? 100% dark grape diet. I would be in a heartbeat and expect some massive healing crisis. Alright? So I'm going to be on a dark grape diet. I'm going to be having grapes in my sleep. Right? Because I have got to get my kidneys to filter el pronto. I'm in deep trouble. From everything they've done to me, all the radiation, I don't know. They've given you carcinogens. They suppressed. You haven't said they've given you any chemotherapy. But if they've done, you've just allowed them to take your body down to Hellville, honey, and you've got to crawl yourself back out. And I mean crawl yourself back out. It isn't going to be the snap of a finger. You want to stay focused. You want to tell these rats to go back in their hole, because they've literally destroyed your body here. I would probably use antispasmodics, definitely upper circumbrainan nerve. I'm going to try. God, I don't recommend isolates very often, but you might want a Cal-Meg. If this is. Again, I'd probably use antispasmodics to try to keep the cramping down. If I did anything, I would probably have some alfalfa tablets or alfalfa juice and try to get a high amount of calcium into that body. I probably would take a parathyroid glandular and maybe even a thyroid glandular to enhance any stem cells that might be around there. To try to promote the growth of a parathyroid gland and a thyroid gland. And you might have some interaction with the calcium there to help that, but it's just parathyroid gland. It's not parathormone or anything. That might be a case where, bite my friggin' tongue, but you wouldn't have a medical doctor recommend it, but maybe some parathormone or something, some parathyroid hormone to take a little bit with that. Problem is, if you have any parathyroid tissue left, it would suppress that. So you see where you get into these things where you have to gently bring her out of this. Holy crap. You got to get your kidneys working big time. So I'd be on the herbs for the kidneys, the endocrine glands, of course. Excuse me. Even though you're missing a few. I don't know. It's about how I would be working you back out of this. Even though you don't have I don't know. I'd have to know more if you had any parathyroid on the other side or not. But I would be using a parathyroid formula, thyroid formula. I would probably be using, if it was 50 milligrams parathyroid, I'd probably be using 2-3 times a day if it was me. Like I said, I'm going to be on 100% grapes. Maybe a little bit of alfalfa juice to give you the high minerals, just because you're lacking them so much with that, the utilization of it. But remember, your adrenals have the rest of the utilization of minerals. You're going to be malabsorbed with this, of course, so the absorption of minerals are going to be minimal. I don't know about intravenous vitamin mineral orthomolecular treatment. I don't know about that. You run the risk of imbalancing body chemistry, but with you, what the hell? Who cares? I mean, that's the least of your worries. Your whole worry is the lymphatic system, and now you got one in the throat where the tonsils were. Obviously, they removed your tonsils early on, and that this be a huge warning to others. When your tonsils swell, your lymphatic system's backed up, and you're doing too many dairy products and all the mucus-forming foods. Stop that and get your kidneys filtered and clean them up and let those lymph nodes go back down. It's easy to do those things, but no, we go in and cut them out, don't we? Not we, man. So you have to work yourself back out of this, sweetheart. And I would hook to one of the counselors here. I definitely would. Pat's going to start with us again. So she's the A&P professor. She won't be here probably till summer. She will be at class, guys, so have fun at class with her. She's going to help take the load off of my A&P section for me. But, when you get in these cases like this, holy moly, you got to back yourselves up. And the first thing you do is you got to get on all raw, 100% raw. Forget, can I? No. You got to focus this. Your attention's got to change. Your old mental concepts have got to go bye-bye. Your fears, honey, you got to lose your fear. Because you're getting yourself to the point where you might be ready to take another trip, and you don't want to fear that trip. You want to enjoy it because your spiritual guides and everything, you want to understand that if you get your body too far gone and no one can bring you out, you're going to be leaving it. You don't want to fear that. I'll be there with you. That's the fun time. So no one ever wants to fear losing a human body. You're going to lose it someday anyway, so never fear that. But the way you leave it could be interesting. You want to leave it with some fun instead of leaving it in pain and agony and fear and being scared. That's why I teach you guys to get more self-understood, more self-awake, so there's no fear about your external bodies. They're not who you are. We identify with our bodies as this is who we are. No, it's not who you are. It's your car that you're using to be here. It's your vehicle of expression. It isn't who you are. But I would be trying to save your butt. And I think that the only way you're going to do that, you've got to get into this great idea. You've got to understand why you're doing those things. And then I'd be going after you aggressively, botanical-wise. I don't have a lot of time today. This is going to be a short one, but these two are enough to make you sick. Hi, Robert. I'm so grateful to you for all the hours you put into the YouTube. Thanks. I've learned so much. Thank you for that. I'm 1 year into detoxification, improving several health issues. I'm skinny as all get out, but I know one day I will put some muscle back on. And you have to realize that. You have to realize that when you get skinny, you're just malabsorbed. But if you have lymphatic problems, you're going to be malabsorbed, because when your lymphatic system is backed up in the throat, it's backed up all through the stomach, all through the small bowel, all through the 22 feet of small bowel, and the 5 feet of colon. I'm just saying. And it's going to be backed up in the liver, backed up in the spleen, backed up in the pancreas. It depends how weak genetic these tissues are to whether you're awake of that or not, whether the liver becomes a fatty liver or the spleen backs up into the blood and things like this. It's still that one system you have to focus on. There's no other system to focus on. Outside of the blood and the lymph, you're dealing in the cells themselves. Well, herbs will help enhance the function of those. That's not the problem. The cells are the effect of the fluids. They're the ones sitting there being cool as all get out. The blowback is from the fluids. And that's all you have to understand about it. You don't have to read volumes of medical works, because that'll just get you into Hellville. They don't have a clue. All those years of study. Interesting. My question is for my dad. He was recently diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Same thing as the guy on the Jeopardy, I guess. He was jaundice. Well, guess what? What's right next door? These are branches off the GI tract tree, right? The pancreas. What's on the other side? Liver, gallbladder, jaundice. So his liver is involved as well. But it would be because you're talking about a systemic problem, not a local problem. They're seeing it as a local problem because maybe the tumor's in the pancreas and not yet in the liver, but it's coming. The tumor is pressing on his bile duct. That would do it. Not allowing it to drain. You know, that's what I'm saying. If these surgeons would have some cojones to them and have any self-worth to them, they would learn from Dr. Lee, the pimple popper, that you can also go in and open up and debride these internal tumors, just like she's doing the external tumors. Same thing, you're the surgeons, but these surgeons don't have any cojones, and their world is controlled by the AMA and these associations. Really? When are you medical doctors going to man up? You know? Dr. Pimple Popper is womaning up. She's a woman warrior. She doesn't let fear guide her world. Even though she sends everything to a pathologist, who cares? Go ahead. Once she understands it doesn't matter if the cancer cell or a damaged cell is in there or not, she's after the system that caused that. It's not enough to debride the tumor, it's enough to fix the system that caused the problem. They did a biopsy. Of course they did a biopsy. God. And put a stent in the bile duct. Well, I don't blame them for that. Can't blame them for that. But while you're doing that, why didn't you just debride the tumor, take the tumor out, sew the tissue back up, and then tell them what the problem is and have them fix it? After the biopsy, they said maybe chemo to shrink the tumor, and then surgery. La, la, la. Yeah. To shrink the tumor, you put your whole life in jeopardy, your whole physical body, not your consciousness in jeopardy, your body in jeopardy. Because what you do to one cell, and I'll say it again, you do to all of them. When the lymphatic system backs up on one side due to the kidney on that side, it backs up on all of them. It backs up on all of them, varying degrees. And genetic weaknesses all apply. That's why you see, that's the illusion, the Maya, the illusion of the negative forces and of this world. That everything is separate and isolated. Everything is the one. Everything is interconnected. So it's part of the Maya, or the illusion of life. And that's what fools the medical community, everything, and several other communities. A lot of naturopaths are fools because of their narcissism. They want to be medical. They want to be somebody. Really? How about trying to be a good healer? Understanding the truth of life and the truth of why man suffers. And if you didn't take chemistry or physics, I suggest you may. Oh, yeah, they're going to do the Whipple effect, which sounds absolutely dreadful. Yeah, I get it. He was also diagnosed with melanoma this year. Well, you remember, this is systemic. So here we go, down that same path, guys. And was in the ER for kidney stones. Kidney stones. Kidneys couldn't be involved, could they? He also has Graves' disease. Oh, so the adrenals can't be involved either, right? Lots of digestive issues. Constipation, malabsorption. Always tons of gas and burping. Well, he's not digesting his foods. It's pancreatic cancer. So, meaning his pancreas is so backed up, he's probably not producing the enzymes to help break down his foods. So you have fermentation, and if he's doing meats, putrefaction. That's a problem, right? Right. I had a case of pancreatic cancer. I'll use their words. So bad that she quit digesting anything. She ate an apple, she pooped an apple. So how do you say, said she only had a few months to live, how do you save someone that can't digest anything anymore? I want to tell you, 11 months later, she made all kinds of newspapers and the Fox News, I think it was. Nothing left. She was 100% normal. Took me 11 months, though. That was disappointing. It took me so long. But how do you break someone back from the brink of not digesting anything? And I did not use digestive enzymes. Ha, ha, ha. Well, you're going to start with fruit juices. You're going to start with fruit juices. The least digested need the best. So you want to get fruit juices where they're absorbed almost sublingually. And get the absorption as best you can. Then you're going to start with herbs as well, liquid herbs, teas, where you can get an action from the herbs without digestive enzymes. And slowly at a time, I pulled that sweet one back. I took her away from all activity. Why did she need to be activity? I met with her family and I said, she's not going to be cooking for you. I don't want her smelling anything cooked. I don't want her breathing the isotopes or any of the chemistry from the cooking. I wanted her out in a hammock on the ocean where she could view the water and enjoy peace and harmony and relax. So those kidneys would relax, the adrenals would relax. I'm going after those, and I pulled her back out of that. That was one of my better cases, but when I was younger, a lot younger. So this is just all a byproduct of what's going on here. And then, of course, the bowels get hardened from lymphatic stagnation, which is malabsorption as well. And then the nervous system goes down because the adrenals, so peristalsis goes down, so he can't poop right. And then the foods they tell you to eat, give this man a high-protein diet. What are you going to do? Run him to death. You're running him down to the doorway of death. And that's just what they'll do is tell him to eat high protein. So clean up the bowels, fruit for the lymphatic system, right? Right. That's what I put him on, fruit. And if he's not digesting well, fruit juices. But why would you give this man difficult foods to digest? First, you're losing energy, so there's another factor for the poor guy. You're going to take all his energy that he doesn't have much of probably now anyway because of the adrenal are down. So you're going to give him complex food to digest? Are you kidding? That shows an extreme lack of understanding of chemistry, magnetics, physics, and foods. Well, if you're a physician of a high order, wouldn't you think you should understand these basic principles of health and wellness? I would. You guys do. Earlier, and I would go after him with herbs. Let me tell you, I would. I would use the liver gallbladder herbs on him. He's got a stent in the bile duct, so that's good that they did that for him. So now you're in a race to get that lymph moving so it doesn't squeeze in other places and doesn't choke off the pancreas, or, of course, the liver's in trouble. You know it is anyway. And he probably has stones up the butt. You can't do a liver gallbladder flush right now, not with that bile duct like that. So I would have him on fruit and fruit juices and more of a mono diet, because you don't want any confusion to digestion here, because there's probably very little going on. You can tell from all the burping and gas. So a lot of putrefaction and fermentation going on. That's not good. That all is acidosis. So, you want to get him into high electrolyte, hydration. Get those kidneys filtering. And you can use herbs to do that, your fruit juices to do that. Dry fasting a little bit perhaps. Or he's going to get to the point where his body can't have anything anymore. His body won't want anything anymore. Nature will fast him on its own. I'm just saying. Earlier this year, when my dad flew out west to help me in my healing, he was interested to eat a vegan diet. Since that's all we do in our house, he's always loved fruit. Good man. Huge win. A huge win is right. He's done a great job eating lots of fruit with some fish, dairy, and cheats here and there. Fish and dairy, part of the problem. Matter of fact, the more dairy, the bigger the tumor. Just saying. With regular cooked vegan food. Now he's got to go all fruit, guys. All fruit, period. And more mono. The simpler focus, the better. I sense he puts a lot of trust into medical doctors. Might not be a time to do that. You might want him to watch this whole video. A lot of them already have. If you haven't noticed, everyone we read here has already trusted the medical doctors, and where are they for that? We're not talking about people that didn't go to medical doctors. They went to us first. They went all to the medical way first. So you can keep trusting that, but in trusting in ignorance probably will be your death. Of the physical body, you'll get another one. But depends what you want out of your experience. And their thinking is non-thinking. They don't have any thinking. Matter of fact, maybe that's all they do is think. That means lack of awareness. No common sense. And it's going to go the medical route. Well, you might just give your dad a lot of love then and, deal with what you see coming. I try my best to lead by example and share your videos with him. Well, this will be a video for him then. Dad, love you, but if you don't get your butt there, you might be kissing it goodbye, man. I don't pull any punches here, if you haven't noticed. Been in this field almost 50 years now and been through thousands of these cases, and it's like I can tell you where you're going, and you probably know where you're going. I went so far as to explain that this is a systemic issue. You're a good woman. You understand. See, and if you can't help your dad, you help yourself. You can only help others so much, and you can't get lost and overly sympathize with them when they're raping your emotions because they are being ignorant. You can't allow them to do that to you. So whether it's your loved ones or even your mate, you can't let them take your world down if they don't want to help their world. That wouldn't be smart, because now your experience will go down. And can't let another person drag you down. This is the time to power up. The negative forces are strong, and that's just what they would love to do, is bring you down. You don't let anybody bring you down. You stand tall. Remember, this year is power up, baby. And surgery and chemo only removes the symptoms. Yeah. Yeah, to create a whole shitload more, let me tell you, a whole bunch more, and just put you to the world of death. Look at the studies we have up on our site here of the club, and there's plenty more we have here to give you. These are bona fide studies, not bogus studies the AMA tries to tell you about. These are actual university studies. Thank you very much, great universities. He's open to the herbs and has started them. He's doing lots of fruit. I even mentioned a grape fast for a while to shrink the tumor. Why not, right? Right. You're the smart one, honey. I'm telling you. I just don't know how much he's willing to do. Well, you know, I had an old priest, and I think he had pancreatic. I can't remember which one. I think it was. He wanted to do both. And I said, well, I'm an old farm boy. And I said, you're a priest. You scared to die? You know, if you're a priest and you know God, you wouldn't be scared to leave the physical body. You'd be welcoming it. It's how you leave, basically. But I said, you know, I'm an old farm boy, and I've put up a lot of fencing in my world, barbed wire fencing. And I said, you know, straddling barbed wire isn't a lot of fun. You can't straddle the fence. Get on one side or the other. If you choose one side and it takes you down, that's your choice. You have to live with the consequences of it. I just don't know how much he's willing to do. I live on the other side of the country. I realize that this is his path. Good woman. Isn't this a woman? Sarah, yep. Good woman. Sarah, get yourself right with it. You know, so all you can do is give your dad advice. I know it sounds cold, but you can't be. You can't let another person, even your own dad, bring you down. And I cannot make him do anything. You're right on, honey. I'm sure you've gone over this in your own self. But I cannot stand by, I know. So you're doing? Yeah, I know. And then kill my sweet soul of my father. He's too young and selfish. Selfishly, I am so not ready for him to leave. I am crying tears as I write this, I bet. Let me cry with you. Whew. It ain't easy for me to read these, guys. God. My question is this: besides encouraging a fruit diet and herbs, how can I help him through the chemo and surgery? Good luck. Good luck. The only thing you can do, surgery, okay, I'll buy that. Cut the tumor out, okay. Chemo, what are you talking about? You know, that's the problem. You know, what might help him as he goes through this torture and suffering? Well, herbs and diet, that's all I got to say. I envision they will want to pump him full of Ensure. Yeah, interesting you said that. You know, that'll just create another tumor quick and give him a high protein diet and a bunch of crap. I mean, these people with Ensure, these all people need to be sued by the health people for making false claims. You know, someday maybe. And that would be horrible, right? Proteins and dairy, yuck. Boy, you really get it. I'm proud of you. Sarah, I'm really proud of you, honey. You guys get it. I put you guys up against any health practitioner all around the world. I am so proud of you guys. I love you guys so much. Online, I read that after the Whipple procedure, they recommend a high-protein diet. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Really? I know. Kill him now. Yeah. They don't get it. They don't get it. That's the problem. Your dad's trusting of people that don't even know what causes his problem. He's putting trust in that? Excuse me? Can he do all fruit post-op? Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Through an NG2? Absolutely. Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I will fly there to help him if he wants help. I am open to any of your recommendations. Robert, thanks and blessings. I'm so grateful. Love you, Sarah. And I'm going to get this to Jen B. Hopefully this will get up tomorrow, guys. This is Thursday, March 7th, I think. And I'll try to get this out to you as quick as possible. But that's the problem with these. I don't get to them quick enough. It makes me sad. But due respect for your father. But man, send him this video. And brother, I'd be listening to my daughter. You got a smart kiddo here. And I think I'd be listening to her. But I love you guys. You guys are so, you get it, and I just love it. I love to see it classes because I see your beaming faces, and you guys get it. And you're helping yourself, and you all show me all your skin's cleared up, and all these tumors are gone, and all these things. I'm proud of you guys. Proud of you big time. Keep powering up, and don't let anybody bring you down. This is the year of empowering. Drive your own car. Give humility and love to others, of course. But power up yourself, and don't let anybody bring you down to Hellville. You're all going to Wellville with me. Love ya.